Hi guys, welcome back to another video. My channel is named Changed to Monster Dude 360. You could have seen that I deleted all my videos. All the videos are going to be coming out again, but they'll be edited and they'll look better, and I think it'll be better to watch for you guys, for a better experience for you guys with my channel. So you guys should share this video to your friends, especially if you like the NFL. You should definitely try to subscribe to this channel and click the bell too. Okay, so enjoy watching this video. So we're going to start off with the Patriots, and I think the Patriots are going to go 12-4. I think obviously it's going to take Cam Newton some time with Bill Belichick to learn the system, or will they go with like read options? What will Josh McDaniels and Cam Newton and Bill Belichick do? That's what's going to matter, but I think a good way to put them is going to be 12-4. I think they will be able to get double-digit wins and putting them ahead of the Buffalo Bills, because I think the Patriots are like a little better than them. So that's where I'm putting the Patriots at 12-4. They got a lot of talent on defense, and I think their offense will be so much better than compared to last year. Now we got the Miami Dolphins. I think it's going to take some of them time. I'm going to give them a 6, and it's going to be a 6-10. I just don't think it's going to take some time for Tua to develop, and in the road stretch, it's going to take them some time at the same time. So I'm going to give them a nice 6-10. I think their defense got a little better. I think maybe a couple more weapons for Tua in the next draft or in the next free agency, and I can see that. How will Brian Flores use Tua? Will he use him like a Tyrod Taylor, Baker Mayfield, or will it be Lamar Jackson, Joe Flacco type of situation? Will Ryan Fitzpatrick be starting, or will Tua start immediately in the first game against the Patriots? I mean, who knows? It's Brian Flores' decision. Who is he gonna start with? I think it's gonna take Tua some time, and once he develops into that Miami system, then I think they're going to be like a championship type of team. Currently, I feel like the Bills and Patriots got that division, but I think it's good to give them 6 wins this season. I'm not a big fan of them, but I think they're a good team down the stretch. And yeah, the Dolphins, they got a nice roster at the same time. On the defense, Landon Roberts, Kyle Van Noy, it's really going to help them on their defense. Actually, last year their defense wasn't that great. So I feel really good about this Dolphins team. The Kansas City Chiefs, I mean, you're going to be seeing this picture a lot more times coming out soon, especially a lot of Super Bowls I think they're going to win. Patrick Mahomes is just the best quarterback in the whole league, and I don't know if anyone can stop their offense, even in their division, but I think they topped the division with the 14-2, and I feel like they might go back to the Super Bowl again. I mean, I don't know it depends on how the Ravens, Patriots, Steelers, I mean, a lot of questions in this AFC this year, so I can't give them a 16-0 and tell them that they're probably gonna go to the Super Bowl, but I think they'll at least make it to the AFC Championship or the AFC Divisional round. And I know their division's a little heated, but I think the Chiefs, they got more experience. I think those other 3 teams one of them is they always struggle with injuries on their defense. Melvin Ingram, Joey Bosa, the Chargers, and Derwin James, and I feel like the Chargers, I don't think they have an edge on them. I think I really like the Broncos and Raiders this year more than the Chargers, but that division is going to be really interesting this year. So I think the Chiefs are just going to continue rocking this with Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. And they also got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It's just going to help them, and their defense hasn't changed any bit either. So I really like the Chiefs this year. 14-2, Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champs. I think the Texans are going to go a 6-10, and I think all their wide receivers are kind of injury prone. I mean, Kenny Stills, he's like the guy that I don't think, and Brandon Cooks. But I think their offense is going to be fine. Deshaun Watson's going to save them. But the 10 losses are going to come because their defense, they got a nice front 7. It's just that their secondary is not that good. I mean, without a good secondary, it's very hard to win games if you can't stop them on 3rd down, and that was a problem last year for them. And I want to see how Bill O'Brien is going to do with Deshaun Watson. How will he use all 4 wide receivers? Will they even make the team? Will he trade them away just before the season? I think the DeAndre Hopkins trade, I like it. I mean, at first I was like, oh, why is he doing that? That's like the dumbest trade ever. But now I feel like I know what Bill O'Brien was doing. I think it was a nice trade. I mean, getting another running back for for help to help Lamar Miller, who got an ACL tear just before the season started. So I think that's really going to help Deshaun Watson get David Johnson. I think if they can keep David Johnson healthy, and they have really good, like, 6 weapons out there: Darren Fells, Brendan Cooks, and then the other wide receivers that they have. And I think they got a lot of deep threats too. The question is if that offensive line can hold up, and I don't know how that D line is going to be this year. They're going to be like fantastic. Bradley McKinney. You also got J.J. Watt, and I'm just really questioning about that secondary. And the reason why I'm giving them such a low grade is a 6 and 10 is because I don't think Deshaun Watson can carry them every game, and I think the Titans and the Colts look like they're going to win that AFC South more than the Texans do. So I think I'm going to 6 and 10. I think they might win 8 games, but I think I'm excited game by game. They're going to get a 6 and 10. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to have an 8 and 8. I think they might fit into the playoffs. Depends on how it actually goes in real life, on how the other teams go. But I think they're going to miss out a little bit. They've had 2 straight 9-7 seasons. They lost Nelson Aguilar, but they got Darius Slay. They got Jalen Reagor in this offseason. I think that's going to help, but do they even match up to the Cowboys? That's the question. I think if they win 1 or 2 games against the Cowboys, they're going to go into the wild card round. I think Carson Wentz stays healthy, they'll be fine. I think the question is Carson Wentz, and can they beat the Cowboys? Do they have enough against to beat the Cowboys? CeeDee Lamb is a threat, and you got to stop Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and their defense is also a threat too for them. I mean, this has been a matchup from the past 2-3 years that's like these 2 teams are trying to get to the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl, but the Cowboys have usually came back late, and last season the Cowboys were there at that one point. They were there. They started out very strong, and that usually doesn't happen, and the Eagles always get off to a rough start, and they come back at the end of the season. And last year the Cowboys, we thought, they're going to play the Super Bowl against the Patriots, but that did not happen. And I think these guys, they need a little bit more. I don't think John Rager is going to make enough. I think they should have drafted Justin Jefferson, a better wide receiver. But I think it's going to take them some time. I don't see them going anywhere. Maybe the wild card round, the farthest they could go. Maybe the divisional. I don't think they have a chance at. Especially the NFC, these couple of years is going to be really good. Because of the Bucs, Saints, I think it's going to be a really, really good team now. I really like the Eagles, but I just think it's not enough. So I feel like the Eagles are going to have a solid season, but 8 and 8 is a good place to put them at. I think the Washington football team is going to go 1-15. They might get the number 2, number 3 spot this year. I just don't like them out of the other teams. Them and the Giants are going to be competing, but I think the Giants are better than them. They got Daniel Jones. I feel like Daniel Jones is better than Dwayne Haskins, and I think this division is very bad and very mediocre. Only the Cowboys and the Eagles are gonna go for it. I don't think this team has a chance at all of making anything. I think Washington football team. I liked how they got Ron Rivera, so I feel like they're gonna do well on the stat sheet on defense probably, but their overall record won't look that great. So if you're a Redskins fan, it's going to be a long season for your team, but just trust me. Ron Rivera will try to do something. Ron Rivera, he's always had an answer for stuff, and I just think I liked how the Panthers released him and they fired him. I think it was a nice decision. I think you got to move on from some coaches and move on from some players. I think the Washington football team's got some good future. They need some help on a lot of areas, but I think it's too much for them. They didn't land so many picks like last year in the first round. I think if they can trade a couple of those older guys on their team, I think they got to make their team young and have a couple of veterans, but not too many. I think they got to be like the Chiefs, where they got where they got Patrick Mahomes, and then they had all these weapons. Take Terry McLaurin as Tyreek Hill, and I don't know who the tight end is, but I think they need more help on the offense. Scary Terry is going to have to do something, so And it's going to be another long season for Washington football team fans. It's going to be a 1-15. I think the Minnesota Vikings, I'm going to give them a 6-10. I think a lot of defensive. I think their defense is not going to be as good as it was from the past 2 to 3 seasons, and I think it's going to take them some time. So I think the Minnesota Vikings, I'm just going to give them the best that I think. I think it's going to be a 6-10, maybe 7-win season, but I don't think they're going to make the playoffs because they lost so many good players on defense, and I think Stephon Diggs, I think that was a good trade. Getting Justin Jefferson, I think they tried. I think Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen had to fight for the catches, and I think getting him away was a nice decision instead of making him cry. I've seen Diggs on the sideline. I've seen Kirk, throw it to me. I think Kirk and Dalvin Cook have to do something on that offense. I think he's called Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. But the key thing that I want to see is Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen are both slot guys. Who's going to play the long one? Are they just going to put those two in the slot? Who's going to be the guy that's going to go deep? And I think that's my question. So I'm just going to give them a very just reasonable thing. 6-10, maybe 7-win season if Kirk has a great year. I think the reason why their success last year was because of Kevin Stefanski. I think they lost Kevin Stefanski, so I think the record could be even worse or even higher. I think 6-10 is a good place to put them, just in my way. I think that's the best way to keep them. I really like how they kept them at how I kept them at 6-10 because it's right between the middle for them. I think I'm putting it down here for the Minnesota Vikings. I think the Indianapolis Colts are gonna go an impressive 13-3. I think they might go a little below that maybe, but I really like how they upgraded their defense to Forrest Buckner is really gonna help. Also, they added Trey Waynes. That's also gonna help too. And I just think their team got so much better throughout this offseason. Philip Rivers, I really like him. I think if he can just be patient with the ball, he'll be totally fine. I think he's got Marlon Mack, Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman Jr., and he also got T.Y. Hilton. Healthy T.Y. Hilton really makes a difference. I just think Indianapolis, I think it was a nice try. I think it's a nice try trying to get him. I'm not saying that it's going to fail, but I think Philip Rivers is patient. Depends on how it goes with Philip Rivers. If he's patient and he spends good time, if he does a nice job, then I think he will earn his he will get his positives, not his negatives, like all his interceptions that happened last year. And I just think I don't think they're gonna make the Super Bowl because of the Ravens and all that stuff, but I think this team has a chance to compete in those close games. I don't think they're gonna make the Super Bowl. Not maybe the AFC Championship game if their defense can stop the Ravens and the Chiefs. And I think I'm looking at them to surprise the AFC this year. And even if Philip Rivers doesn't success, he can go to Jake Fromm and Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett had a nice year. It was a solid season. Just that the Titans came up alive, or they would have made the playoffs. So I think picking up Philip Rivers was a good decision. After they need another quarterback, I think it's good to get Jacob Eason too. I really liked when they got Jacob Eason. I think he can teach both Brissett and Jacob Eason. They're going to compete in the future. And that's what I think about the Indianapolis Colts. And I think they're going to go nice 13-3, but I think maybe 10 wins, maybe 9 wins, I don't know. But I hope they can get this because of their defense. And they got more weapons like Michael Pittman and also Jonathan Taylor in the draft. So I'm expecting a good season from the Indianapolis Colts, 13-3. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to go 0-16 because they are going to be tanking for Trevor Lawrence. They want the first overall pick. I think Gardner Minshew is going to go somewhere else or back him up. But I think they're not going to keep Gardner Minshew for long, and I think it's in their locker room. They got rid of Jalen Ramsey, AJ Boye. They got rid of a lot of players. I think Leonard Fournette will go away, maybe to the Bucs or something. But I think I think an 0-16 maybe a 1 or 2, but I don't think they're gonna try at all. They won't try. I think they're gonna tank for Trevor Lawrence, and they're gonna rebuild it like that. I think drafting those rookies this year, it was good. I think I liked how what they're doing is doing a Trevor Lawrence rebuild. They're just trying to rebuild it with Trevor Lawrence. They're definitely tanking for Trevor Lawrence because he's going to be probably the first overall pick next year, and I think they will get the first overall selection. For the Jacksonville Jaguars, I feel like the Jacksonville Jaguars, they'll rebound after this year, maybe a couple of wins, maybe 5-6 wins after, but we'll keep expectations low, Jacksonville fans. Maybe go be a bandwagon and support the Bucs, okay? Or just support the Dolphins or something. Jacksonville just annoy this season. It's gonna help you, Jacksonville fans. It's at the end you'll see what they've done, what your team's done, how they've changed it so much. And just one bad season can lead to one good season. Just think about that. Many good seasons. One bad season can lead to many, many good seasons. So they're just gonna do the Trevor Lawrence rebuild. That's what the Jaguars are gonna do and go 0-16 on purpose. I think the Chicago Bears are going to go 11-5. Robert Quinn getting them. I think their defense is just going to get stronger. I think just how the Patriots defense carried them last year, I think that's how it's going to carry depending on the quarterback situation. We've already seen the wide receivers, Anthony Miller, Allen Robinson. They've had a great time, and Cole Kmet's going to help too. But I think they got to stop getting addicted to those tight ends. Why would you get Jimmy Graham then? They have 10 tight ends on their squad. You don't need 10, maybe like 4. Maybe 5 the most, if they're very injury prone. But I think they're not scared to move on from Mitchell Trubisky, and I think that this is a defense that can stop the Buccaneers. They can stop the Saints too. I think their defense. I think maybe a Super Bowl could come this year for them. You guys might be yelling at me in the comments that you really think the Chicago Bears are gonna make it to the Super Bowl? They might not even make the playoffs, but I think they're gonna make the playoffs because of their defense. And even though Khalil Mack had a down year last year, I think the whole defense is just gonna rebound. And I'm going high on the Chicago Bears this year on 5. I think the Detroit Lions, they're gonna go 2-14. I'm not gonna go too high or too low on them. I think they need help on their defense, even though they got Jeff Okudah. I think Matt Patricia is just a horrible coach. Anyone from that Bill Belichick system sucks. One guy that probably had success was Brian Flores last year. He had nothing to do with it, but he just got the final 11. I just don't think Matt Patricia is going to be like that. He's probably going to get fired after this year, and I think maybe they tank for Justin Fields. Their defense needs a lot of help at the same time. I think Jeff Okudah is not immediately gonna show up, and I just don't think they got a good enough roster. They're not anywhere to making even a wild card spot. Matthew Stafford's carried this franchise. I think it's time to let him go, too, and tank for Justin Fields. I think their offense is fine. Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones, T.J. Hawkinson's also good. So, yeah, I'm not gonna go high on the Lions this year. I think the Oakland Raiders are gonna go a decent 8-8. I think they might make the wild card. Depends on how it goes in real life. This is just my predictions. I think it's gonna be who gets it, Derek Carr or Marcus Mariota. I think if Carr struggles if they lose the first four of the 3 games, I think they're not scared to turn to Mariota. I think there's a good chance for Mariota to rebound after losing his job to Ryan Tannehill. I think they got some good pieces on defense. I think John Gruden has turned this team into a really good team. I feel good about this team. I think but I don't think they're enough to beat the Chiefs yet. It's gonna take them this time, so I'm just gonna go reasonable about them. 8-8 for the Oakland Raiders. I think the Carolina Panthers are gonna have an 8-8. I'm not going too high on them or too low on them. I think an 8-8 is a good place to put them, especially where they are in the division. I think they're in the number 3 team, with the Falcons below them. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs. Christian McCaffrey, they're gonna ride behind Christian McCaffrey's back, and Teddy B's just gonna play good role. I think Teddy B's gonna connect in those clutch moments where you can't use Christian. You need a touchdown, 4th and 8 or something. You're gonna use Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, and Curtis Samuel. And I think I really like their team this year. I think Matt Rule, I think he's going to use McCaffrey, Bridgewater, all the weapons that they got on offense. I think their defense is just going to be solid with Derek Brown on their team. So I'm just going to give them an 8-8. I think the New York Jets are going to go a solid 4-12. I think they're the 4th team on their division. I feel like it's hard off their road schedule. You're up like Kansas City, Oakland. I don't think they stand a chance against those teams. I think it's gonna be a close battle though. And playing the AFC West, I think Sam Darnold. I feel like I think he's not a bust, but he's a little over a bust, a little better. He's like an average quarterback. He's gonna be one of those average quarterbacks. I think the Jets. I think I like how Adam Gase did a better job in the last 7 games. That they won last year. I think their defense stepped up too. I think losing Jamal Adams is going to hurt in case he stays. If they don't trade him away, and if Jamal Adams holds out, if he doesn't want to play with them. I think that's some drama on their team. I just don't think the Jets are going to go anywhere. They're nowhere close to the playoffs because the Patriots and Bills, I think they're going to try that AFC East. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to go 10-6. They're gonna get into the wild card for sure. Adding Stephon Diggs helped. Josh Allen, I think he's gonna continue it. I think if he doesn't make any mistakes, they could win more games. But I don't think they can beat the Patriots out in this division. Maybe in a couple of years. Even when there's Jared Shimley, I think they might have a chance. So I'm just gonna give the Bills a solid 10-6. I think the Cleveland Browns, they're gonna upgrade and get a nice 11-5. I'm not going to put them in front of the Ravens because I just think they don't have enough to beat the Ravens. Maybe they might in real life. In my predictions, they're not. And I think Kevin Stefanski is a definite upgrade over Freddie Kitchens. Freddie Kitchens was like a horrible coach. He's just unqualified as a coach. He's just horrible. It's a very horrible coach. You go on a 4th and 9, Nick Chubb, you run it with him against the Rams on Sunday Night Football. The whole country is watching this game, and you decide to do that. I think that just shows how dumb Freddie Kitchens is, and I just think Kevin Stefanski is just going to take this team to another level with the play-action pass with Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, OBJ, and then Baker has so many weapons this year. And even if Baker doesn't step up, then you can go to Case Keenum. So that's really good for them. I feel like they're going to take a step up and get a decent 11-5. I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to go at 12-4. They're going to be tied with the New England Patriots, but the Patriots are going to be ahead of them. I think the Baltimore Ravens, I think they're gonna win some games because of their defense, but their offense is not gonna be as good as it was last year. I don't think they're gonna make the Super Bowl because of the Patriots, the Colts, and some other maybe special teams like the Steelers might come out in that division. The Browns could. So I think that AFC there are a lot of questions, but I think the Ravens are just gonna go literally solid. I think they might just show how they were last year and maybe go 15-1, or they're gonna go down a lot more and maybe get 9-7. But I think they will definitely make the postseason because of their defense, Derek Wolfe and Calais Campbell's that they got, and they also got bring back J.K. Dobbins to add to Mark Ingram, Justice Hill, and Gus Edwards. So I'm just gonna give them a solid one. I don't want to give them too many expectations, so I feel like 12-4 is a good record for them. I think the Seattle Seahawks are gonna get a 12-4 in the NFC. I think they got some experience in the playoffs too, and I think Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson are gonna carry this team. I think DK Metcalf showed up last year. I think if DK Metcalf stays healthy, I think he'll be fine. And Tyler Lockett was good last year too. And I just think I'm gonna see more. I think they got Greg Olsen too. Always got Chris Carson, Rashad Penny. Also got Carlos Hyde added this year. I think their defense, if their defense really gets better with Bobby Wagner and KJ Wright, those guys led it last year. I think if they can get better, they'll be fine. I'm not gonna go too high on the Seattle Seahawks. I think 12-4 is a good place to put them this year. I think the Atlanta Falcons are gonna get a 2-14. I think they lost a lot of pieces on their defense, and getting Todd Gurley was kind of a risk at the same time, but I think having him on your team is a good running back. I think if they're gonna win 9 games, Matt Ryan and that offense, Todd Gurley, Julio Jones, and Calvin Ridley is gonna have to carry this whole team. Even their defense is just gonna get worse and worse. I mean, they gotta do something on that defense to make their defense shine. But in their 4 teams in the division, they look like the worst to me. I think the LA Chargers are gonna go 7-9. I think the quarterback situation is a thing. Justin Herbert or Tyrod Taylor, I think they're gonna start with Tyrod Taylor, and if he doesn't success, and then they're gonna go to Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert's gonna be a star in the NFL. I just think it's gonna take him some time. I think out of all the quarterbacks that I saw this year, after Joe Burrow, I think this guy is the next guy that I think it's gonna be the next star in the NFL. So I think just watch out for this Chargers team. I think if they make the postseason, it's gonna be hard to stop their defense and offense. So I love the LA Chargers. I'm just gonna give them a solid 7-9. I don't think they're gonna make their playoffs in the first season. I think if they do, that would be brilliant. I think the Arizona Cardinals are gonna take a big step up, and that's why I'm gonna give them 11-5. That's a good place to put them. I think that AFC West is just gonna be a brilliant division. I mean, the NFC West is gonna be a brilliant division this year. Trading for DeAndre Hopkins is gonna help Kyler Murray. Their offense definitely got better out of Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray, and I think DeAndre Hopkins is immediately going to show how to be a number 1 wide receiver. I don't think he's a number 1 wide receiver in the NFL, maybe number 3, number 4 type of wide receiver in the NFL, but I really like getting DeAndre Hopkins, and I think if their defense just steps up, if Chandler Jones can dominate the league, just how TJ Watt did last year, or how Nick Bosa did last year. If he does that, I think this Cardinals team is going to be so much better, and they can make a long postseason run. But I'm just going to give them maybe wild card or divisional round. It's probably the farthest that they can go because their offense is like the Bucks and the Saints that can do stuff. But nothing with the Arizona Cardinals. I don't want to give them too much, so the Arizona Cardinals are just going to get 11-5 from me. I think I like the San Francisco 49ers this year. Getting rid of Eric Armstead and replacing him, DeForest Buckner with Javon Kinlaw. I think they had the best offseason in my way. Getting Brandon Ayuk was a good pick too. I think they did a really good job in the draft this year, and yeah, I love this team. Even though DeForest Buckner won't be there, Javon Kinlaw will be there. And I think if Jimmy G just plays soft, they'll be fine. But I think in their division, they have to go 9-7. I'm giving them third place because I just don't think they have that fiery offense. Their defense can't save them all the time. So I'm just going to give them a nice 9-7. I'm just going to be nice to the 49ers. I'm not going to underestimate Jimmy Garoppolo, but I think they might be close to making playoffs or not. So I was giving the 49ers a 9-7. I think I'm going to give the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a 14-2. Even if Tom Brady doesn't success, I mean, how would he not success? He's got Gronk back. Can they do it again? And then you got Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, just two really good wide receivers. Godwin in the slot and Evans on the outside, and Gronk just playing great tight end. I just think even if Brady throws like 15 picks or 13 interceptions or something, I think they will get at least 14 wins. But I think the Saints will be the first team in the division because I feel like the Saints are more balanced compared to the Buccaneers. I think the New Orleans Saints are going to go 14-2 ahead of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Saints I really like them. I feel like they got a good team. I'm just going to give them a 14-2. There's a number 2 wide receiver called Emmanuel Sanders. He's just a GOAT. He's not the greatest of all time, but he's just one of my favorite wide receivers to watch. His route running, I like it for Emmanuel Sanders, and yeah, there's not much to talk about this team because at every position they're stacked because Sean Payton and Drew Brees. I think if they just don't, as long as they go to the Super Bowl, I'll be fine. I think even if something dumb happens there, I'm just gonna say it's just a fashion Saints loss. So I'm going on the Saints this year, 14-2. I think for the Dallas Cowboys, I think they got 3 really good wide receivers like Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb. So I'm going to give them 11-5. They're going to be, I don't think they stand a chance against the other NFC teams. Maybe in the wild card round, maybe the divisional round for them. So I'm not going to go high on the Cowboys this year, but I think 11-5 is a good place to put them. As we know, always they come back late in the season. I think I won't be surprised if they come back late in the season again to come win games. I think 11 games is probably double-digit wins will probably be it for them. And I think their defense, probably if they get Jamal Adams, I think their defense is just going to get stronger. It'll be a good replacement for Byron Jones at the same time. I think I'm going to give the LA Rams. We're going to be stunned by this after they made the Super Bowl 2 seasons after. 4-12. 4-12, people. They're going to regress a lot. They look like the worst team in that division. I think if they weren't in that type of division, maybe they would probably win like 11 games. But Jared Goff, I think that contract, he's probably going to get cut or traded. I don't think they would trade him maybe. I think they might just get him a pay cut or something. But because 4 years, under $34 million, that's just way too much for him. The Patrick Mahomes deal is fine. I think the Rams are just going to really regress, and losing Corey Littleton and some other defensive players, it's really going to hurt, I think. I don't think they're going to even get 7 wins out of this season. Maybe the most is going to be about 6 or 5, but I don't want to go high on them this year. Jared Goff, just get your pay cut and they'll give you more weapons. I'm just going to tell Jared Goff that. I think I'm going to give the Pittsburgh Steelers a decent 5-11. I like them, but I think a 5-11 is a good place to keep them. I like them a lot. But I just, because the Browns and the Ravens are going to get a lot of wins, it's going to impact their game. So Steelers are going to get a nice 5-11. I think I'm going to give the New York Giants a 1-15. I think a 2-15 sounds better in just my case. 1-15 is not the best, but 2-14 is a good one. I think Saquon Barkley has to carry the whole team. I think it's going to take Daniel Jones some time and their defense some time too. And I like the Xavier McKinney pick. I don't know why no one's talking about it, but I think giving them a 2-14 or a 1-15 is a good record for them. I think the Tennessee Titans, they're gonna go 11-5 and play in the wild card round. I think they're not the best team in their division. I think they're the second best team after the Colts. And A.J. Brown is gonna have a better year. He's just gonna get even better. And their defense is gonna get better. A very young defense. Derrick Henry is gonna get better too. So I think if Derrick Henry stays healthy, it'll be fine. I think losing Jack Conlon is going to hurt a little bit, but I think Tannehill shows what he did last year. It's going to help them. So that's why I'm going to give the Tennessee Titans an 11-5. I think I'm going to give the Denver Broncos an 8-8. I don't think they're just going to get one more win. I think it's because of the division. If they showed up last year, then I could have won higher on them, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I think 8-8 is a good place to put them at, and that's like a good place for them. I think I don't think they're gonna go too high. They got Von Miller and Bradley Chubb. Jerry Jeudy is a good thing, and getting C.J. Hamler, that's gonna help too. So I feel like that was a good. They had a great draft too. So I think that's a good record for them. I think I'm gonna give the Cincinnati Bengals just a great, a nice 5-11. I think that's a good record for them. I think they're going to do well on the stat sheet, but not good on the record, not on the games. But I think Joe Burrow is going to probably win Offensive Player of the Year, and AJ Green and Tyler Boyd, John Ross. He's got so many weapons, and I really like their team. If their defense steps up, I think they'll be fine. They might get into the wild card in their first season, but I don't think it's going to happen immediately. So yeah, and also having T. Higgins is going to help too. So yeah, I think that's what I think about the Bengals this year. So make sure to like and subscribe to this video. Share it with your friends again. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.